Operation Blame the French well underway today. The lorries have actually moved. There's a motorbike policeman guiding them. There's another policeman in the middle of the road. Traffic officers never made it as police. Bunch of fucking weirdos. And here's some goods. So if you've ordered goods going back to the continent, Europe, what we don't want to be part of anymore because we want to lead the good life. I bought 3 sirloin steaks today, 33 quid from a local butcher using local cattle. So how cheap's that? Oh, I didn't buy them, I was there. I wouldn't pay 33 quid for fucking steak. But it's indicative of the good life, innit, is what I'm saying. This is indicative of the good life. Remember this. I know there's a lot of train and rail disruptions at the moment, and the film industry's unions are also striking. That doesn't really, not striking, they're in discussions. That doesn't get media coverage. But yeah, this is awesome. I know they've had a bit of this on the news. All of France's fault as well, which is crazy because they're not here. Because this is Britain, it's not France, is it? So remember, it's take back control. So I find it interesting that anyone can blame the French when the control is actually the British. It's got nothing to do with France, is it? Because it's a different country. And we're not in that union anymore. So it's our responsibility to sort things out, innit? Yeah? That's how I figure it to be. So a bit we could have blamed France when we was in the EU before Brexit, I reckon. Would have been a good time, and then you could have had a chat with them. But now that we've left the union, it can't have anything to do with France by proxy, by default. Because obviously, look, this lorry's chooching, he's thundering along. He's from Holland, I think. That's what the H is. The little flag on it, look. And there's a car in front of me which is from the letter D as well. So it's nice that they come over here, innit? Because considering we didn't want to be part of the union, you know, which is fine. Unless you're a lorry driver or any of the people waiting for this stuff. And obviously it was like this yesterday. I'm just waiting to see. I doubt they've probably gone past, but I was just wondering if the old there was a bunch of brand new Holland lorry tractors here yesterday. I wonder where they're going. I wonder if they're going to the Ukraine to deal with the wheat, the grain movement. Everyone's very excited that Ukraine's wheat and grain is moving along now, isn't it? It's an interesting thing to be excited about, wheat and grain. Because again, Britain took back control, so surely we should be using our own wheat and grain now. Maybe that's what they're been trying to grow in all those scorched fields from the heat wave and that, you know. And I've seen quite a few posts online of people complaining about farmers' consumption of water whilst the water is low. So maybe that's why we need Ukrainian grain, because people in Britain don't want to share the water with agriculture and help grow grain over here. So instead we just end up with lots of hay because everything is scorched. I've seen quite a few fields that have been I mean, look at that, that's fucked. I've seen quite a few fields that are already been baled. There's a couple along here actually. A little bit early, I thought, a little bit early. Normally it's because of August at the end of summer, innit, after everything else is done. But I guess as the earth is scorched, we don't need to worry about it. And you know, unless of course you think about the Sahara and how it's encroaching onto arable farmland at a rate of about 10 kilometers a year. But that's going to affect like Spain and countries that are in Europe first of all. So we don't need to worry about that because we're Britain and we've taken back control, apart from farmers can't get enough water, the land is scorched, and it looks like we might be having a problem exporting, because it kind of looks like everything's going to take forever. And of course we can't send it by boat because an awful lot of our docks have closed, or it's at least been very much downsized over, you know, sort of the last couple of decades. Maybe we'll have to look at air freight from one of our undersized airports, you know. Perhaps what we could do is bury some of those reservoirs up near Heathrow, innit? And you know, we could give that water to the farmers to put on their scorched land, fill it all in, and add extra runways. But it won't be runways for holiday goers. Not that they need runways, because they're not going anywhere, are they? Because the airport staff all got laid off so that they wouldn't have to pay out during COVID. Now there's not enough staff, and they can't open certain terminals all at once either, can they? Because they didn't really maintain them during the lockdown properly, and now stuff's broken and understaffed and undermanned, and they can't just switch it back on. This isn't Sim City, is it? You know. So hopefully soon they'll take back control of the airport, and that'll be fine, you know. But until then, where's that fella from? He's from France. Maybe we can blame him. Maybe he's here just to laugh at all of this. Or maybe he's looking for his tractors because they haven't been delivered yet. There was only one row of lorries yesterday, and now there's another one behind that, and there's another one behind that. I think they're parking up. I don't know where they go to bathroom. Like there is a welfare unit at the bottom of the lorry line. Of course, there is a national shortage of truck stops. It's quite interesting how little this country respects lorry drivers and logistics personnel. You know, we've known for many years that people in this country and the government in this country don't really give a fuck about farmers, so we don't need to think about them and their scorched fields and their inability to export all the hay that they're growing, or perhaps even the problems of importing Ukrainian grain, now that Putin said that that's alright to do. Redefining packaging for a changing world. I mean, Jesus Christ. This another thing to think about is just fuck the logistics of this all for now. But what is the wellness of these? What is the wellness of these lorry drivers? Do you know what I mean? There we go. Now we're switched over to just parked lorries. Maybe these are the guys that have given up or can't cope anymore. You know. Look at that. So now we're on to the old parked lorries. It's a bit easier to see because there's not the unparked lorries aren't blocking the parked lorries. What a line. I think we're actually coming to the end of it now, so I guess it's not too bad. I guess it's just overblown hype and whatnot, and the control will be taken back over the next couple of days, I guess. Although the American CEO of the Dover port, so not British, American, and you can always trust a country that's completely road centric and has no railway or real modern day logistics to be in charge of a British port. Yeah, he was like, well, you know, we did everything. It was the French, yeah, traffic officers. My God, those kids that used to dob you in all the time in school, but they weren't fit enough to join the police. So there you go. There's the end of the line. It took 9 minutes to drive past at 50 miles an hour. You could probably do some maths, figure out how many lorries were in there. Remember, it's 3 rows of lorries, not one. Yeah, and you can use a little equation, the take back control equation of distance over average lorry length over time to predict how many lorries were there. That could be something interesting to do instead of going on holiday or enjoying running water. You know, and maybe that's where take back control ends, in that we just garden in our gardens. We grow our own crops in our gardens, and we tap into wells in our gardens, like the olden days with the peasants and that. Then again, peasants only worked 150 days a year, as set out by the church. So, still not all that control-y, is it? Anyway, there's a bit of Kent for you. Enjoy the Kent. Enjoy it. And I'm going to go sit on the M25 and cry. Bye.